Welcome to Watch Me with Watches. I'm Dan. My channel is mainly revolves around good value watches, and today's watch is no exception. A brand called Corgeut, one of the many small little brands out there that you can find on AliExpress, mingling with the Phylidas and the Pagani designs and the Parnes, etc., of offering you as much you can get for your money, really. That's the aim, is to have something that is good value. Are you going to get that with this watch? You're going to find that out in this video. But before that, I just want to give you an indication of why I wanted to review this piece to share with you guys, because there's a lot of choice on the market at the moment, especially on AliExpress, for far better value alternatives to if you wanted to have the James Bond look without having to go and buy a beautiful Aston Martin or go to spy school and be a secret agent. If you want to get some kind of tiny tenuous link to your enjoyment of those kind of films, it's going to be a Bond watch. But again, if you're going to get an Omega or a Rolex or anything from any era that Bond has worn one of these beautiful watches, they're going to cost many thousands of pounds. And it's very difficult to stomach that kind of money sometimes. That's where the homage market, it comes and saves the day, if you will. Now, I've seen many pieces from Invicta. That's the 1953 I reviewed a while back. I quite like that. Then there's Phylida offer a few alternatives, and their sub-brand Matic. But the Phylida, they do No Time to Die edition. They do ones that look very similar to the Brosnan era pieces. And of course, there are other brands like San Martin. They offer a vintage diver. There's a lot of choice with a few fluctuations in price. Some are under and some are over 100. Corgeut fits in nicely in the far more affordable end. So is this homage any good? I hope you enjoy this video. It's going to give you everything you need to know. And the next bit's going to be the stats and specs. So see you after that. So here is the Corgeut with no name. It doesn't literally have a name, don't have a reference code. It doesn't have any kind of name assigned to it. So to find this piece, I'll put the link in the description just to help you out so you can go and find it and easily have a look through the specs and things like that. And the other color variations, other bezel inserts, there are other choices available. But this piece I went for was the sterile dial version, and the one I managed to find had absolutely no writing on it, because the thing that bugged me about the watches that were available is they said chronometer on the dial, and that's the first complaint I like to start with. I don't like them saying chronometer when it's not a chronometer. I mean, it's just as bad as saying that this is an Omega, which it isn't. It's an homage watch, and same reason why I get really annoyed when they put things like chronometer on. That's something that is a very special thing to put on a watch. It requires a lot of expense and is backed up by actually being extremely accurate. And the movement in this isn't running that great, so it's definitely not chronometer. It's running at plus 13 to 17 a day. I know I can regulate it, but the point is, don't put that on a dial of a watch which hasn't been regulated to chronometer standards. You can't say that anyway because it needs to be certified. It's just the whole thing you should not say on a watch. And that's why I went for the sterile dial version, because it doesn't have any of those lies on the dial. So unfortunately, it's made the dial look a bit too sterile. And there's no other branding anywhere on it. There's nothing on the crown, nothing on the butterfly clasp. The only texture gets on the underneath here saying how water resistant it is, and it's stainless steel and sapphire crystal, etc. The next criticism is the polishing. It's okay. The reason why I know it's not good polishing is if you look under light, you get little fluctuations and deviations in the finish. I know I've worn this a bit and it's got a few scratches in it, like you see there, but what you get is just ripples, and you can see slightly poor finishing that the polishing hasn't got rid of. It's just got streaks in it and things like that. The brushing does compensate for that, because that is very good, but there's a lot of polish on here, which when the light catches, you can see a bit more on that link there. It looks a bit wavy and a bit ripply. I have seen really good polishing on watches that cost the same as this. The other criticism, even though I've said it's a budget Bond, is the way prices have gone on AliExpress. It's not that great, the price. Unfortunately, it's with taxes, it's closer to £100. You'll see throughout this review, is it going to be worth that money to you? Because other alternatives are all going to cost about the same as this. My other criticism is I just don't like this butterfly clasp. Unfortunately, It's nothing to do with how well it's been made. I mean, it's obviously got the same polishing problems, being a bit ripply and things like that, but it fits me okay, which is good news. But for some of you, it may not. You do get these half links, which does definitely help with sizing it for you, but it's just very baggy. The fit, if you can see there, it's got a huge gap. Got the Grand Canyon in the middle there. It's just a bit too big, and that just cheapens the look of the watch slightly. And another major bugbear is the fact that this NH35, although it's not running very well, I still like them and are really easy to regulate them. It's just annoying that you can't now get it with the NH35. I hope none of you rage quit the video because of that, because the main reason I bought this watch is to share with you the excitement of getting this not with the Miyota or Seagull, which just feel less refined and do definitely make the watch feel cheaper than it is because of how rattly they feel inside. Beggars can't be choosers at the moment, because some reason I think it's the supply issue that's going on at the moment because of COVID with the manufacture of NH35s. Many different companies have either drained all their supplies or struggling to get more, and maybe been put off buying more because of that supply issue. Then I don't like the fact, again, white date wheel. If I'm going to be really picky, a black date wheel would have helped blend this in a bit more. But the black dial with a white date window just makes it jar a bit. But at least the other benefit, maybe if it being white, is it works with the other markers at 6, 9 and 12, because they're white as well. So next up, kind of a pro and a con, is the bezel. It's got a little bit of backplay, but not much. A little bit of wobble, but there's no bounce or anything like that. But the feel's actually okay, but it just doesn't always feel like it lines up spot on when you get it back at the 12 o'clock. It needs to have a little bit of tweakage. So it's there, and then you just have to see there's play there, and then it clicks, and it can go back a little bit more. So I think I've covered the main negatives, really. I mean, I don't want to rip this to shreds, because I do actually like this watch. To back that up, I'm going to discuss now what I think you guys should be aware of about why I like it. For the money, I think it's a good looking watch. I know they haven't had the effort put into actually designing this piece. It is an homage. The plus side of that is it is a good looking piece. All the dimensions are really good. You've got a nice slim case size. All the proportions are good. Lug to lug's great. And it's helped again with these female end links, which I really like. And they're solid end links as well. And the good thing about that is it just seems to sit so nicely on the wrist, which I'll show you again. Just sits really neatly on your wrist. Very comfortable, and it just looks great. Nice colors as well. It's really neutral, very stealthy, if you will. It doesn't jump out and looking too flash, but it's just a classy design. And I think the balance of the dial looks quite smart, with the 12, 3, 6 and 9 being the only places there's any kind of markings, or the date, for example. The faux patina could be debatable as if that's good or not, but it's a nice orangey colour, and it adds a bit of colour to the dial. That's the main thing. But the lume is actually surprisingly okay on this watch. Being a sandwich dial, that also adds a bit of depth to it. And the lume is surprisingly good for this type of piece. I mean, I did a time lapse and it lasted better than I thought it would. It's not amazing by any means, but it's definitely not disappointing. And you do get a really good specification. This lovely dome on this sapphire crystal, no AR coating, but you do get a little bit of light play, a little bit of distortion, and you've got a ceramic bezel inset as well. So you've got really good materials specification. You've got all stainless steel, ceramic and sapphire, and a decent Japanese movement. Specification wise, it really all adds up to being a really good piece. All the hands are the right length. You haven't got anything that's looking disproportionate. You know, the minute hand comes right out to the outer minute track here. You've got the hour hand coming out and lining up with these lovely triangular markers. And the seconds hand, lovely smooth sweep. And again, it's nice and long. The screw down action of the crown's really nice, really easy, pops out, smooth hand winding as you expect for an NH35, and all the functionality of the crown spot on. Screws straight in, no binding. I did have on a previous Corgeut a bit of binding and felt a bit lumpy when screwing the crown back in, but this one is fantastic. And the brushing is really good. Look how smooth that brushing is. Very consistent. Same on the bracelet. I find Corgeut really good with their brushing. I think polishing is lacking, but brushing is great because they're all brushed. Railmaster homage they do is stunning for the money. It really is. I mean, that is one of my favourite watches they've done. That's why I thought definitely worth a punt taking a look at this one. So overall, it's been a great start. I have not found too many things to criticise, and overall I think it's a good looking piece. And there's something you can do to enhance this. I'm going to do a bit of promotion work now just to discuss with you. If you don't like this bracelet, which has unfortunately been the main thing I've criticised because of that polishing on it and the butterfly clasp, you can go for the full bond effect, and you guessed it, it's going to be a strap change. So let's show you those. Now, first up is the obligatory Bond style NATO. It's got to be the one. There's literally very limited choice, in my opinion, of what you should really put this on. And I'm surprised it doesn't come with this strap as standard. I think you can get it with this kind of strap, but go for the bracelet and come to my store. I sell many straps, and you can come and buy one from me. And I do loads of straps. This is just one of literally hundreds of different straps I sell. So this is a great start. But if you don't want a NATO style strap, which is going to add a little bit of height of it off your wrist, and you want to have something which is similar to another strap option they do with the actual Omega watch that this is paying tribute to, I'm going to show you another alternative. This is the Crazy Horse in brown, saddle leather, super soft, buttery finish, contrasting stitching, which works really well with the color that you've got in here on the indices, and it's so smooth. Quick release as well. Great value for money. It works so well with this watch. If you want to go for a slightly more casual look, you're not going to get it wet. And it's just a great everyday desk diver. Really classy option. So would this fit into being your budget bond watch of choice? There are many out there. What's your favourite? I want to know. Drop a comment. It'd be interesting to hear what you maybe have bought or thinking of getting. And does this Corgeut fit into something that is of interest to you? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.